Some breaking news for you on the Scotland story today. We understand that the Scottish Conservatives are to lodge a motion for a vote of no confidence in Scotland's First Minister, Humza Yousaf. That's according to the party's leader, Douglas Ross. This after the governing SNP ended its power-sharing agreement with the Scottish Greens and is to lead a minority government at Holyrood. And it's understood that the Greens withdrew their support following the Scottish Government's decision to scrap the 2030 climate target and the way it responded to a review of gender services.
Patrick Harvey, is the coalition over?
Well, these were pictures of the Scottish Green Party co-leaders Patrick Harvey and Lorna Slater leaving Bute House in Edinburgh ahead of the cabinet meeting where that decision was made. Mr Harvey told journalists that the decision was a total U-turn from recent days. Now, in the past couple of hours, the Scottish First Minister made the announcement to confirm that the power-sharing deal was scrapped. Let's have a listen.
I believe that going forward, it is in the best interests of the people of Scotland to pursue a different arrangement. That is why, following a discussion with my cabinet this morning, I have formally notified Patrick Harvey and Lorna Slater that I am terminating the Bute House agreement with immediate effect.
Well, here's the reaction from Green co-leader Patrick Harvey.
My fellow co-leader Lorna and I went to a meeting with the First Minister at Bute House, where he informed us of his decision to end the cooperation agreement between the Scottish Government and the Scottish Greens. This is a total U-turn on his position from recent weeks and even days, where he had reasserted his government's commitment to the progressive policies that our parties had jointly agreed on and the need to ramp up climate action in the face of decades of political inaction, including from the SNP government.
Our Scotland correspondent Lorna Gordon is following the story from Edinburgh.
Some of the language used this morning has been quite acrimonious for people, for parties that have been partners in government for 3 years. As you said, Humza Yousaf saying the benefits outweigh the compromise, that it's being terminated with immediate effect. Lorna Slater and Patrick Harvey talking about this being an act of political cowardice to appease the most reactionary forces in the country, that Humza Yousaf can no longer be trusted, that he's ending the agreement in a weak way. The SNP, to be clear, does not have a majority now in the Scottish Parliament. They have 63 MSPs. They are 2 short of a majority, along with the Greens, who have 7 MSPs. That gave them a majority. They've lost that with this termination of the Bute House agreement with immediate effect. However, this is a parliament that is designed to be consensual. It is designed for a minority government. Indeed, the SNP in their first administration under Alex Salmond governed as a minority government. But what it means is that they will now have to reach out to other parties to get backing for their policies. There will have to be more compromises going forward with other parties.
So how did the power-sharing agreement in Scotland come about and what led to its collapse? Sophia Betizzo explains.
The power-sharing deal between the SNP and the Greens in Scotland has collapsed. So how did we get here? Well, the arrangement was established in 2021 when Nicola Sturgeon was First Minister, and it meant that the 2 leaders of the Green Party, and you can see them here, became members of the government. Now, in 2023, Humza Yousaf took over as leader of the SNP. But since then, there have been several issues that have caused a lot of division within the Scottish government. The most divisive, climate policy. Last week, on the 18th of April, the Scottish government announced that it would scrap its target of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 75% by 2030. Now, this is a significant U-turn for the SNP, because when these targets were first announced in 2019, Nicola Sturgeon, the First Minister at the time, said that these were the most stretching targets in the world. And she said that hers was the first government on the planet to declare a climate emergency. But climate experts say that the emergency response never came. And for the Greens, cutting emissions is one of their main objectives. It's a key policy area. So this is seen as a huge failure for them. And today, the co-leader of the Greens, Lorna Slater, accused the SNP of selling out future generations. And she also said that Humza Yousaf can no longer be trusted. So it appears that it had become impossible for the two parties to continue working together. So what happens next? Well, the SNP will now form a minority government until the next Scottish Parliament elections in 2026.
And within the last few minutes, just a reminder that we've heard from the Scottish Conservatives that they are planning to lodge a motion for a vote of no confidence in Scotland's First Minister, Humza Yousaf, as a result of this collapse of the power-sharing agreement. We'll keep you posted on what that means shortly. That came from the party's leader, Douglas Ross, telling MSPs.